Hey guys, it's Ben from Platinum RC here, and today we're going to be talking about how to build your first quad. So you just got all the parts you need to build your first quad, and you're wondering, I have all these parts, how do I build it? So that is exactly what I'm going to be going over in this series, how to build your first race quad. So the first thing that you'll need to put together, obviously, is the frame. So, as my frame, I have this Torque Evo from Torque FPV. So we have a hardware bag, a mount, arm, another arm, bottom plate, top plate, another arm, an even more bottom plate that goes underneath the bottom plate. It's another plate, and then another arm. So first you're going to want to lay out how you think the frame will get built. So I'm thinking, what I'm thinking is probably going to happen is we're going to have each arm like this. There's a specific way. Yeah, we're going to have each arm like this underneath it, like so. And then kind of lock in to form this little formation right here. And then, because we have this other plate right here, so that'll go there, and these holes will line up with each arm. This is my first Evo getting built, so it's probably not going to be perfect at first, but, you know, you have to do what you got to do. So, I think, yeah, the arms will go like that, and so the bottommost plate will... The arms will be in between the bottom plate and the bottommost plate. I think that's how it's going to go. And the top plate, you know, we have standoffs connecting this plate. I'll call it the middle plate from now on. The middle plate to the top plate. So that is how I think it is going to work. So first up, you know, you always want to plan your build. Figure out how you're going to do things and put the frame together before you start anything else. So now we're going to actually build the frame. So you're going to want to take your bottom plate. In my case with this frame it's a middle plate, but for you it'd be your bottom plate. You take your bottom plate and you first want to start putting the arms on. So you get your screws out and your mounts in this case. So first you have to look at all the different sizes of your screws. So we have some longer ones, shorter ones. Yeah, so these dark screws will not fit because they have to go through both the bottom plate, for me the most bottom plate, and the middle plate. So I'm thinking these silver screws, these will probably get the job done. Or you can just count them, you know, you'll have the most, whatever screw you have the most of will probably be what you're going to use for these. So, you know, always go there, put the arm on. So yeah, I got that on. Put on this other screw through the other arm, or the other hole in the arm. So one arm is now on. So, you know, just repeat this step with the rest of the arms. Okay guys, so I just realized I had all the screws backwards. So this just shows you that, you know, it's trial and error. That's a lot of the times with a new frame. Like me right now, this is a new frame for me. So I figured that out by if you line up the top plate with the holes, they actually screw in to these outer holes. So I'm thinking the longer screws go on the outside for the standoffs, and the smaller screws, those screw into this metal part right here. So I'm thinking that's how it goes. So I'll do that real quick and I'll get right back to y'all. Now remember, everything on a quad regarding how to build it, or like how to do the frame and everything is symmetrical, because if it wasn't symmetrical, then there would be a weak point in the quad. And with these things crashing at however fast they're going, which for the most part is pretty fast, you do not need a weak point. So all sides need to be equally strong. Because if there's a weak point, there's a strong point. If there's a strong point, there's a weak point. So, got that. Smaller screw on the inside, and that is all for the arms. Just like that, the arms are done. Now usually on a quad, this is where you'd be done with the bottom plate, but on this Evo, it has two bottom plates. There's a bottom plate where you usually mount a VTX or a light strip, and then there's the actual bottom plate where the boards go. So I'm thinking, push that down all the way to the bottom, and then screw these smaller screws into the inside little metal things. So yeah, it acts as a nut for the screws, so not coming off. And just like that, the bottom of the quad is fully assembled. Next with the standoffs, so these are really easy. You take the outermost screw, really, or the bare screw in this case, and you just, with your fingers, hand tighten them on. Just to all four sides. This is where the top plate is going to be screwed onto and mounted to the bottom plate with these standoffs. You can choose longer or shorter standoffs depending on, you know, how much room you want in your quad. And here's some fairly short, relatively short standoffs, but you don't need much room on this part of the quad because you can mount your VTX down there in the little bottom section. So just like that, the whole bottom of the quad is fully assembled. I do want to commend Torque for choosing the red standoffs, the red, black, and silver to all go together, because it looks very nice. It feels very strong. Like, it feels rigid, arms are thick. That's always a plus. So then finally, you know, we're not going to mount the top plate just yet, but the top plate, those holes should line up with your screws. Or no, the holes should line up with the standoffs, and you just screw in all the screws. But for obvious purposes, we're not going to put the top plate on just yet, because we are going to be putting on the boards in the next episode. Well, the ESC to be exact. Not the flight controller just yet. But that's all for this video today, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next video. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the future.